You said there might be some challenges with my previous mob farm, so I thought, why don't I take your comments and see if we can't improve on it and make sure that we have got the best mob farm we possibly can. And this is the result. I think you're going to like it. Make sure you don't go anywhere so you can see how we make this really interesting looking XP and mob farm. Don't you go anywhere. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening and good night, depending on what time you're watching this next video from me, Avomance, in my farm tutorial series. Do you know what I really love about this series? It's all you lot in the comment section below say, Avo, this bit works really well. Avo, this bit doesn't work quite so well. Avo, why is this not working? Avo, why is this not working? And actually, that is really useful because it allows me to look back at the builds and think, what was not quite right with that design? What could I do better? What would be better for you lot out there to have a go so as we can improve the farm? And that is what this video is all about. We had gone and looked back at one of the previous farms and we're going to make it a little bit better. We're going back to the XP grinder mob farm thing that we did, I don't know, it's ages back now, ages and ages back, and it's been a really popular video. We've done like 300,000 views as of watching this particular video when I'm making it, but I mean, that might have grown if this is a couple of months on, but we're going to make it better because there's been some issues with it since the mobs started to float, and also some of the redstone wasn't working properly. So we have now going to do it in a way that makes it work properly, hopefully on multiple platforms. But again, in the little comments below, make sure you tell me if it's working in PE, is it working in the Better Together update, is it working on console, whatever. Is it working? What is it doing? It'll be really good to understand, but hopefully this is going to have a much better yield. Let's get on with it right now. So the items we need for the main body of this build are 2 trap chests, 2 normal chests, 4 hoppers, 130 stone steps, 8 stone slabs, 608 glass blocks, 572 stone blocks. Now these blocks don't have to be stone and they don't have to be glass, it's entirely up to you. 1 wooden trapdoor, optional 34 glowstone, 4 water buckets, 1 redstone block, 130 pieces of redstone, 22 observers, 1 sticky piston, 8 comparators, 24 repeaters and 1 button, and some wool or dirt or something like that you can use for construction materials that you can easily delete. And then per pod you need, on top of that, 484 stone blocks, 318 stone steps, 20 repeaters, 20 redstone, 20 dispensers, 20 water buckets and 308 stone slabs, or again whatever other opaque block you want, and that's what you need. First thing we're going to do is create the collection section. So we're going to dig out a 2x4 section, and then in this kind of 4 section here we're going to put a double chest, and then here we're going to put a double trap chest. Now that allows us to open both of those chests separately there like that. Now I've heard a rumour that in the Better Together update you don't need trap chests and chests next to each other. If that's true, tell me in the description below because I'd be really interested to understand that. And then here we're going to put crouch, put a hopper into that chest, hopper into that hopper, and then separately hopper into that chest and a hopper into that hopper. So what that's given us is 2 full chests worth of storage, because what I found is sometimes with the storage you've not got enough. It totally fills up, which is amazing, but you want obviously to not get overflow. Then on top of these chests, remember these hoppers, you've got to get some slabs. Now things can fall through slabs when there is a hopper underneath it, and it just, I think, looks a little bit better. But it's also kind of handy because you want to create a section where you can get at the mobs, but the mobs can't get to you, except the odd really nasty little spider that managed to get pushed out as a result of mob crowding. But we're going to get a little string around here of steps, which then creates a bit of a jump there. We're going to get some glass, and we're going to put 2 high glass there like that, and we're going to come along and build a ring of glass all the way around the above bit of those steps, there and there and there, and then underneath we're going to get a slab. So what that does is that creates a gap that's too small for the mobs to get through, so they're kind of trapped inside this section here, So let's get that all the way around. So can you see how that is now, you could get in there with your sword without any problem all the way around. Don't matter where the mobs fall, they're not going to be hiding from you. You can get all the way around, but they can't get to you. And even the creepers won't explode because they sort of can't see you properly. So they don't explode, you just bash them and everyone's happy. So that's kind of the first section right there. Now we need to get up. We basically need to tower up. And we want this drop to be long enough that it damages all of the mobs really quite badly, but not so long that it actually kills them. So if you consider that they're going to fall onto this block here, which means this block is the first block, the block above it, this block is the second block, and we want to go up about 20. Don't go above 22, go up 20. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that is the drop that we want them to drop. And then we're going to kind of build the ring around the top the same way as we did the bottom, and it is a 4x4 square of glass all the way around the top like this, and that is going to be the hole down which they fall. So I'm just going to finish off this tower of glass and I'll be back when I've done that. So we've got a tower of glass. And why is it glass? Well, frankly, I like to see these things falling to their doom. I'm just a little bit weird that way. But on the top, we kind of now need to make a platform. And we're still going to use glass. And you'll see why. This is not the mob spawn chamber. We're going to come out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Stick a block on there. Then we're going to make another arm all the way along this side. Same side. Then on each side here we're going to do exactly the same. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and up, and this one as well. So let's get on with that, shall we? So there we've got kind of a cross section there, and we are going to make that a flat space by just coming across diagonally all the way to fill in the gap. So we're going to end up with a nice floor that is basically a large square that comes out all the way to that and create a ridge along the edge at the same time. And that's going to give a really nice working platform for us to start doing some mob collection, but not some mob spawning. What am I doing? I don't know. Maybe you need to keep watching just to find out. I'll be back when I've done this. So we've created this platform here and we made like a crenellation pattern all the way around the outside with a glass block every other one. And here, this is going to confuse you. We're going to put a glowstone. You're saying, Avo, what's going on? How can you put glowstone on it? Because light is going to stop mobs from spawning. But this isn't the spawn platform. This is just a platform that is going to help us collect. I know, it's confusing, but I like to see stuff on my platforms. So I put a little bit of light so I can see what is going on without it getting too dark. So all the way around I'm putting a bit of glowstone. This is completely optional, people. If you wanted this to be glass, or even if you wanted this to be a completely enclosed cobblestone place, that is also perfectly fine too. I have absolutely no problem with that. Now we're going to put another row across the top here, not because we want it to be 3 high, but because we're going to need the outer section to be 2 high. We're going to fill it in just a little bit in just a sec. So let's get this all done. There we go. And now into the corners we're going to go now. We're going to put 1 bit of glass there, then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then starting with that being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we're going to go across the corner like that, and that creates a triangle that is 6 blocks by 6 blocks by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blocks. Then fill it in like that, and we need to repeat that in each corner. So again, it's 6 blocks by 6 blocks by 6 blocks, and then fill it in. Let's get that bit done again. There we go. So we've got a confusing looking glass platform that's completely see-through. It's going to let loads of light in. No, this isn't a mob farm that only works in the dark. It will work in the light as well. Yes, it will. So let's just get a better look at that. You can see it's a really nice see-through system, and underneath you can see through it as well. I just like the way that works. You don't have to do it in glass. You can do it in whatever block you want. So the next thing we're going to do is to actually build the mob chamber. So what I want you to do is come down to these triangles that we built in the middle of each corner, and in the center one, the center gap here, so that's the center gap, go onto the platform and put one block. Now that block is going to be a temporary block, so it wants to be an easy to mine block. Maybe you want to use dirt. I'm just using wool because it's really easy to see. And we're going to go up 15 blocks. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, and on top of that block, you're going to put your structure block, which is that bit of stone. So you can see we've got a tall tower with a stone bit on top, and we're going to come across 12. So this being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you should find that you are directly above the same place that you were before, which is exactly what you want. Then we're going to come in here and come across 12 again. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And again, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then finally join the dots up at the end, and you should find that you have to stick 10 more in there to make that 12 total. And that, believe it or not, is your kill spot. Yeah, I kid you not. That is going to be the aperture that is going to lob loads of mobs down. You can get rid of these temporary blocks now. You don't need them. And what we're going to do is we're going to build down with these blocks 10 blocks. So 1, if I can drive, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, like that. We're going to do that in this corner as well. This is basically going to be the tube that the mobs are going to drop down. And the reason we've come down 10 is because that is going to be enough to block out most of the light. So inside the chamber is 7 or less. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill in this so as it is a tube, and I'll be back when I've done that. And we've got a big ugly cube of stone, but it won't be ugly for long because we're going to do stuff with it. And we've trimmed it off at the bottom just to start it off with some upside down steps. But at the top here, we want to come out 8. Just pick one of the sides, doesn't matter which side. Pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9 and 1 on top. And then just for clarity, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then 1 on top. And then on this one, we're going to come across this one being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 1 on top. So let's, again for clarity, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 1 on top. Now it doesn't matter which side you've done that on, but you want to come to the opposite side now and do exactly the same. So that being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 1 on top, and then here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then 8 and 1 on top. And you only want to do that on 2 of the sides. Leave these 2 sides blank for a minute. And then what we want to do is we want to spread that across the entire width of this side. So it's going to come all the way across from here, right the way across to here, all the way back, step up at the same point, and then create a lip at the same point. So I'll be back when I've done that on both sides. One long platform later, and we've got a big old scooping platform that goes on either side of this. And what I've done is I've kind of edged it underneath with some steps so it doesn't look quite so harsh along the edges, and also where it steps up we've got steps going there as well. It just looks a little bit nicer from underneath, I think. And then we've got a wall that's 1 high here, and then that will continue, so therefore becomes 2 high when you're in this section right here. And then on this end bit we're going to get some dispensers. Now these need to be dispensers, they must not be droppers, and you want to get a row of dispensers running all the way along that bit there, and we're going to come right to the other end. We're going to do exactly the same thing and get a row of dispensers all the way along to the end. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 dispensers at each end, which is brilliant. And then we're going to get some slabs, and in the back of here we're going to get a double row of slabs like that. We're going to repeat that on the other end all the way along. So along our way, this actually gets a lot of mob spawning in it because it is just so very big. And then we get that like that, that like that, all the way along. So you've got 2 rows of 10, and then into the back of each of these dispensers we're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 repeaters, all linked up together with a redstone wire. And yep, you've guessed it, right at the other end we're going to repeat that exactly the same way. We're going to get 10 repeaters, one into the back of each of these, just like that, and then all the way along the back we're going to get a redstone wire going into that. And then all that we need to do to finish off this platform is we need to get another row going along the top. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to put that bit there, and then I'm going to place against the block, not against the dispenser. And that's because if you hit on the dispenser you need to shift click, and it's a pain in the bum. So we're coming all the way along here, and we're just going to edge it off all the way to the end. And we've got one platform that has got a depth of 2 here, and just a depth of 3 here, just so as you can have a drop right here. It's not so as we're spawning Enderman. Enderman aren't really going to work in this particular farm, but it will work for pretty much everything else. So now we need to do is kind of block off the top of this. Now I like to do this again with stairs, not that way round though. We want to do it with stairs that way round, and we want to come along all the way to the edge gap there, and then stop, and then come to the edge gap here, go all the way along right to there, and then wrap it all around, because we want it to look just a little bit more smooth edged than that harsh corner that the block gives us. So I'm just going to get this done, and we're going to put on a ceiling onto it, and once that ceiling is on I will be back with you. So we've got a roof across both of those platforms, and you can see what I've done here is I have used half slabs on the bottom half of the back of these steps. Now what that's going to do, unless of course the Better Together update has messed this about, which you might have done, it's messed about loads of stuff, it will stop the mobs from spawning on top of this platform, which will ensure more mobs spawn inside the platform, which is exactly what we're after. So what we're going to do now, before we end up blocking ourselves in, is we're going to come along and we're going to put a bucket of water into each of these dispensers. So we'll come along there, and another one in there, and we're going to do that at both ends. So there is just one bucket of water in each of the dispensers, and it then will work beautifully. If you don't do this, or you miss one of the dispensers, it ain't going to work very well, unfortunately. So there we go. So that is the last one, and then I'm just going to repeat that at the other end, and then I'll be back. So we filled up all of those dispensers with one bucket of water, and I just want to demonstrate what happens when you have those water buckets in there and you activate these dispensers. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to put a redstone torch on here just to light up that redstone wire. This is not how we're going to activate it, but it's just a demo. So I'll do that. You notice everything gets done there. If I come around this way and we come in, you can see that the water runs all the way from there to from the dispensers all the way back, but doesn't roll over the edge of that thing. So if we then come and get those to collect in, so we need to put another redstone signal into it, that then retracts all of those buckets of water. And if we come around now and have a look, comes down, and you can see all the water is now gone, and that spawning platform will now spawn more stuffs. So the water will wash down the stuff that spawns, and then you retract the water to give the platform again, so as you can then spawn more stuff. So it's a really efficient way of doing it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to come out in the opposite direction. So using this as one, we're going to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and one more, and up, and then that one again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then that one, and up. So as we've got exactly the same pattern we had going that way, but coming out this way. And we're going to do the same on the other side. So again, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then one up. And this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, then 8, and up. And we're going to end up with 2 prongs coming out, very similar to this, but coming out in the other direction. But what we do want to make sure here is that this is a solid wall, so we need to change this up ever so slightly, so it's no longer a slab, it needs to be a solid wall. So let's get the slab there, and we're just going to run a row of slabs across the top to make that a solid block. We're going to do the same on this side as well, and that will be a continuation of the wall when we actually get there. So I'm just going to do that now, and I'll be back when I finish that. We're literally going to repeat all of this coming out this way. And there you have got 2 pods. So that's what I would call 2 pods. The north-south is one pod, the east-west is another pod. And if you wanted to, you could just close off that top right there, and you would still have plenty of spawning room. Or you could do something like this. We have got 4 full pods, so 8 spawning chambers, 2 on the north, 2 on the east, 2 on the south, and 2 on the west. It is a mammoth effort to make this. There's a lot of blocks, but I tell you what, it isn't half worth it. And it actually, now, even with that kind of stony block thing in the middle, looks pretty damn cool as well. Now, we've got a couple more things to do. Obviously, we need to connect up the redstone. I'm going to do that in a minute. But we do need to add water. We need 4 more buckets of water. We're going to stick 1 bucket in that corner. We're going to stick 1 bucket in that corner. We're going to come around, stick 1 in that corner, and 1 lastly into that corner. Now, you can see that takes us all the way to the middle. So anything that falls from up there, look how dark that is, oh my goodness, anything that falls from up there is going to get washed all the way along and down into that hole, and it is going to drop to almost its doom when it gets to the bottom, where 1 quick whack with probably even a wooden sword or your fist will give you XP and also lots of dropped goodies. So that is the structure of it. Now we just have to wire it up with the redstone, and this bit is pretty simple. Okay, so we have done all of the electrics now. All the redstone is sorted out. It is a simple button operator system. In the last one, it was a lever. That was a mistake. I don't think a lever was the right one. We've got a button this time. And the way we get in the redstone signal up there is using a load of observer blocks. So on top of this block here, we've got a little bit of redstone, and that observer block is looking at it. When the signal goes off, we get a little bit of a redstone fart coming out the back of that observer block, which activates that redstone. That observer block sees it, does a fart, and up it goes all the way to the top, and we get a redstone signal going right to the way to the top here. And this one at the top here does a fart, and it goes all the way along there, and it is seen by that guy, and it makes him fart, and it goes all the way to the top here. And this is where the magic happens, because these observer blocks are giving out a 1 tick pulse, and the fact they're giving out a 1 tick pulse means it sort of messes with this pulse extender, and I'll say why we've got a pulse extender there in a minute. So you need to basically give a little bit of a trigger to turn that 1 tick pulse into a longer pulse. So we've used a sticky piston here with a block of redstone on it. The 1 tick pulse causes the sticky piston to stick that redstone out, basically spit it out and leave it next to that redstone wire. And then the second pulse from that button, because remember this is a button, so it's an on and then it's an off, and it notices the off as well as the on. That's still a block update. That then gets the piston to extend and suck back that block. In the meantime, we've got a pulse extender here. Now the problem we've got with this sort of pulse extender is if we put the observer block over the redstone dust, this pulse extender will slowly degrade that signal to get weaker and weaker and weaker. And every time it gets weaker, that is a block update. So therefore, this observer block sees that block update as updating and updating and updating and updating over and over again. And that can't happen because it just goes completely haywire. So what we want is we put the observer over the comparator. When that happens, the comparator turns on, which is the update. And then it eventually, after a long while, it turns off. And that's another update. So that's 1 update and then another update. So we've turned a button push down at the bottom into a relatively long signal. Long enough for us to sweep the water from inside these blocks here all the way down and sweep any mobs that we've got inside these cabins right down to the drop zone. If we just had the length of a normal button push, it wouldn't be long enough and the water could well dry up before the mobs get pushed all the way to the end. So we have to get that block extender. And then we're feeding the redstone up through these other observer blocks along a string of redstone that goes into the back, and similarly here it goes up into the back of that, and then it carries on up into the back of that and carries on up into the back of that. So you've got all 8 of these chambers being fed purely by these observer blocks and their farts, which is amazing. So now what we've got to do is we've got to test the system and see whether or not we get any mobs out of it. I'm at the bottom of the XP farm now, and I've got a stone sword in my hand. Stone sword. It's a bit of a rubbish sword, so again representative of the fact that we have got a lot of hearts falling off of these things as they fall down this hole. I've got, you'll notice, a trapdoor there. it is a slight adaptation of what I did earlier on, and I'll tell you why we get that trapdoor in just a minute. I've just seen a really strange feature of what must be in the 1.12.2 Java update that actually means you need this trapdoor. Really weird. But we're about to go into normal mode. I decided if I go into normal mode rather than hard mode, because most people play survival in normal mode. I think that's a fair statement. Most people do it in normal mode. So if I was to do this in hard mode, again, it wouldn't be representative of the number of mobs that you would have falling down this tube. So I want to make it fair. So what we've also got to do, you'll notice, is I need to go into survival mode. So I'm just going to open up these chests. You can see both of these chests are currently empty. Let's now get myself into survival mode. Game mode 0. You can see my hearts have popped up, and I've just crept in here to level 31. So it's not very high, but good enough to do enchantments. So we're going to see what we can do from one old blast of this fella. So what we're going to do is we're going to press this button. If you remember, all the signals are going to go up. It's going to release the water in those chambers. It's going to release it for just long enough to wash everything out, and then it is going to suck it back up again without you having to press the button again. You just have to press it once. So are we ready? Let's do this. So bang, press the button once. Now we're just looking up there, and we're looking for little feet to fall down into this water. Will there be any feet fall down into this water? Yep, look, you can see all the feet starting to fall down, and down they come in. You can see these poor little fellas getting bashed by the floor as they come round. So let's give them a bit of a hit. You know, it's only fair. They come all this way. I think we need to bash them. You notice also the creepers are not having a go at me. They can't see me, so they don't try and blow up. So you are completely safe being this close to the creepers. So let's come around the side. Get rid of some more. Keep going. Come around this side. Get rid of some more. Keep going. You'll notice that the XP isn't going up, which is a little bit weird, but we're going to sort that out in just a minute, and you'll see why. Here we go. So we come around by the trapdoor, and you can see that the XP is starting to flow through the trapdoor. It wasn't coming through the stairs, and I don't know why. It just wasn't coming through the stairs. But we've gone from, oh look, we've got a few spiders having a bit of a hide there because they're scared of me. It was going from 31 to 33, 2 full levels up in the 30s. That isn't too bad. I'm fairly happy with that. And what did we get in the chests? So that's one chest. We got some rotten flesh. We got 15 gunpowder, 7 arrows, 9 bones, a bow, 2 string. And in this chest we got 14 more bones, 4 rotten flesh, 12 gunpowder, 11 white arrows, and a spider's eye. So what I think we'll do is we'll give it one more bash. Just one more hit to show that you don't have to press it to reset it and get it to go again. It's absolutely fine. You can just press it again to get it rolling. Now we're looking for the little feet. There's the little feet, and they're going to fall on these spiders' heads. Oh, fall straight through the spiders. Come round. We've got another creeper there. Let's give the creeper a bash. There we go. One hitting with a stone sword, pretty much. And see here, look, we've got no XP hitting us, even though we are killing plenty of stuff, and even looks like little XP balls are coming out. It's not making any difference. Now we've got a witch in here. Witches sometimes clog up this system because they drink potions, and you can hear them drinking potions, and as a result they don't die. You can hear that glug glug glug. No matter how many times I hit this poor thing, it's not likely to die, but it might. If you get a little bit lucky, it might. You can hear it glugging away. And now I'm just going to approach, and we're going to get the XP's coming to us again. All that spider had just crept through us. I've told you that before. There we go. And we've managed to get a little bit more XP there. Let's get rid of these spiders. They're trying to have a go at me, but it's not working. So that XP now coming at us through the trap door. And what do we get on that one? It's come all the way through. We've gone past into halfway down 34. Now again, the witch can't see us, so it doesn't try to kill us. But again, it's clogging up the system. You can hear it gulping away at its potion, which is very annoying. I guess if you had a diamond sword, you'd probably be able to kill it without too much trouble. So what did we get? That up that a little bit. And yet we've got loads more gunpowder and loads more bones. So that is the system. So that, I think, is an improvement on the previous XP farm. You still get loads and loads of XP, you still get loads and loads of loot, but you don't have some of the problems that you had before with the water holding up the mobs because the mobs are floating. We don't have that issue. And I think it looks pretty cool too. It looks a little bit special, slightly different to the last one as well. And it's a little bit more stylish maybe, and you could make that bigger if you wanted. You could stick another load of pods on top. It could go up as high as you wanted, right up to limit, although you might find it gets less effective as you get up towards the ceiling because you hit the mob cap, but that's fine. I'm sure you will work it out. If you have enjoyed this video, please do make sure you slap that like button for me. I'd really like to see what might we get on this one. 1,726 likes, that would be amazing. 1,726 likes for the video. If you're one of those, thank you very much, and if you like it after that number, thank you very much again. And also, if you haven't done it already, make sure you hit that sub club. It'll be great to see you on my sub club list, and I'll see you in another video. You take it easy now. Bye.